Hello my friends! Before I get into the topic of the video of the transitioning between being financially independent to becoming more dependent financially, I just want to make a couple of announcements or updates and just kind of fill you in on a few things. So I did a live stream test maybe about a week and a half ago, and I promised that the next one I did I would give a little bit of advance notice. I know it's not much, but on Tuesday, March 5th, today is the 2nd, so yeah, Tuesday, March 5th, I'm going to do a live stream at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so that would be 8 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. Yeah, 5 p.m. Pacific. So I'll do a live stream. Please feel free to join. I think I probably will have a Guinness again. Maybe not, I'm not sure, but I'm sure I will. So, knowing me. Yeah, so join me for a pint of Guinness and we can chat. I'd like to share a couple of links down in the description. As always, I put things that I reference in my videos. I put some really great links in the description down below that you should check out if you'd like to. I mean, I would love for you, to check them out. And one of them, and it's kind of part of the inspiration for this video, and there's a couple of others too, but a couple of days ago, I did an interview with Jeremy McDonald from Parkinson's with J Mac, and he's been doing interviews with people with Parkinson's. And so he's a friend of mine. We did a video together, not just Parkinson's, with Jennifer Sullivan. A link to that will be down below. He asked some really great questions. It was a fun chat, and there was a question in there that I was asked that, the answer still stands, but it's about what are your greatest fears? And then of course afterwards I was like, oh, this is another big one, and it has to do with money. So that's why I'm doing this video. Along with another inspiration on Substack, there's a woman named, her Substack is Who Stole My Dopamine? And she's an amazing writer. She's hilarious, but one of her most recent essays is a girl just wants to have funds. It's a play on the Cyndi Lauper song, but F-U-N-D-S. And she shares her reality, being a mother, trying to raise, married with kids, and what that's like, her experience in the UK. And the financial reality for people with Parkinson's, I mean, on top of everything that we have to deal with already, it is a lot. And this is another reason why I'm a really big advocate for having a great therapist. Now, I got a therapist when I was diagnosed. I don't see her like I did in the beginning. I saw her, I think, for maybe about 6 months until I felt like, okay, I've adjusted. I found a way to, to process and deal with this diagnosis. But she's still part of my healthcare team. If I find myself in a really tough spot that I can't seem to find the right perspective on, I call her up and she's there for me, and we set up an appointment and discuss what's going on. So I feel like it's just a vital aspect of our healthcare, because there's just so much. I mean, so for example, just on the financial, we'll just stick to the financial subject. I was financially independent my whole life, basically, since 2 or 3 months before my 18th birthday. I moved out into an apartment downtown Chicago. And that was in 1993. So from 1993 until 2018, when I moved in with my husband, we were still dating. We weren't married at the time, but I've lived with 2 people. 2 men, 2 relationships. So the majority of my life, I have been completely on my own. I put myself through college. I waited tables while I went to school. I mean, I have been very independent, and it's a pride thing. It's an ego thing. It's also wanting to be a good partner and feel like I'm doing my part, and there are other ways that, I compensate for, from my, I mean, I don't want to phrase it in a really negative way, but for that feeling like I'm not contributing to the relationship. And I think it's really where things can get kind of tricky and dangerous for us is when we allow ourselves to kind of, and that voice in our head to really go to, you know, just places where we degrade ourselves, like, you know, oh, I'm just a burden. I always try to stop myself before going there, because it's not going to do me any good. And the reality is, if my husband, if our positions were in, if I was in his shoes and he was in mine, he wouldn't be a burden. You know, yes, it might be stressful. Yes, I might be worried, but he would never be a burden. And I would do what he's doing. You know, I would be there for him. And so I don't, you know, I try not to let my thoughts go there. But you know, it's a hard switch to make. And so what have I done to make myself, you know, well, not make myself, to contribute still, you know, financially, I mean, because I can work to some extent, but not like I have in the past. I mean, so I bartend 1 day a week on a really slow day, which is a Monday. And that way, you know, but like every now and then I got, like last week I got slammed at like the last hour, and it was great. I was able to manage it just like the pro that I am, and all was good, but I don't know how much longer I can do that. So I've been, like when I decided to, you know, shut down my pub and kind of come up with some ideas about like what's kind of like my dream, like my last hurrah, basically career-wise, and it's always been to be a writer. And I'm a creative person, and so I decided, of course, like to pick a profession where, you know, it's like notoriously hard to make money. I kind of joke, you know, sometimes that I love to make my life as difficult as I possibly can, but it's been my dream. And so I started, you know, the YouTube channel, which I finally got monetized last November. And I can't tell you how excited I am and how much I appreciate the community that we have, that you guys have subscribed, that you engage and comment on the videos, that you watch these videos, because it absolutely makes a difference. My first check from YouTube, which was so exciting to see, like YouTube's name on my bank statement for a deposit, but it was like $80. And then the last two was like $175, and then there was like $200 was my biggest one. So I would love to keep that growing, and you know, so that's one little revenue stream. And then I started a Substack, and I just want to share some of my headlines or titles for the essays that I have on the Dill Pickle, just to kind of give you a sense of my sex and Parkinson's mind. But here's a few of titles. Our primary sex life is with ourselves. Getting real about sex, bladder leakage, the zombie shuffle, and dyskinesia during orgasm. Can I be sexy with dystonia crawling to the toilet? And differences in libido when you have Parkinson's. So most of these articles are for paid subscribers, but I do some as well for people who are free subscribers. So please do check that out. A link will be in the description down below, but this is another revenue stream. And then of course I've been writing this book for the last year and a half. It's a memoir that I'm super excited about, but you know, that takes more time. I mean, even if I found an agent and then a publisher, I mean, that could be like a year or 2 years away. It's a very long process. So that's something kind of down the road. But anyways, those are the things that I've done to try to manage just not getting super doom and gloomy and scared and filled with fear, because I mean, it is scary. It's been one of the hardest things for me to accept. And in terms of acceptance, it's like, I mean, because this is my reality, and Parkinson's is my reality, and it's not just affecting me financially. I mean, in so many other ways, it changes things for us in a big way. And so I just want to kind of share, yeah, like, you know, my thoughts on that transition from, yeah, being, you know, a very independent woman to somebody who's basically dependent upon her husband, and all that comes with it. And then once again, to like, just the incredible like help as part of like my healthcare having a therapist that I can reach out to when I'm unable to kind of pull myself out of like those dark places when I start going there. So anyways, as always, I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts, your struggles, how you, and you know, these always, because people read these comments, you know, what have you done? How have you accepted? Have you not been able to accept it? Are you still working? What are your fears? Because you know, I've been one of those people. It's not like I've ever been like a millionaire. I've ever had like a ton of money. I mean, I opened up a restaurant that was successful, but you know, most people do not become millionaires when they open up a restaurant. It's a labor of love. So I've spent most of my money. I've never been like a big saver. You know, I'm like a very like live in the moment kind of person. So, you know, there's a cost to that too. And yeah, it's a lot. So anyways, that's it. You know, join me on my live stream. Check out my Substack. Consider subscribing because that, you know, absolutely helps support me and my writing. And then continue supporting me by watching my videos is so appreciated. And yeah, I guess that's it for today. So thank you as always.